Okay, my name is Peter Peterson. My wife Anita, who's 65 in March, was diagnosed with vascular dementia in October 2011. The early signs of diagnosis. There are signs that lead a person to get professional assessment done, and then there are the signs one recognizes after the person has been diagnosed. Leading up to Anita being diagnosed, Anita would wander off both mentally and physically. She would go to do something and never even start it and not even remember she was going to do it. This came to a head when she flew up to Ottawa to visit our daughter and grandchildren. She got off the plane in Ottawa and noticed a Tim Hortons. So she went to Tim Hortons instead of going down to baggage. She then wandered around the upstairs of the Ottawa airport for over 2 hours while our daughter waited downstairs for her. Well, we realized that there was something wrong because this was not Anita. She'd flown many times all over the world. So we got her diagnosed and it proclaimed that she had vascular dementia. After being diagnosed, I thought back over the past 2, 3, 4 years where she had become completely relying on me to do everything for her. She repeated herself constantly. And if I had known that these were symptoms of dementia, she could have probably been assessed earlier. And maybe the medicines would have prolonged the length of time that she was until she is where she is now, which is in the Somerset Manor. Sharing the diagnosis, being very proactive and being in the Air Force for 35 years, I told everybody we knew about Anita's problem. This was developed both a support system for myself and for her, thereby explaining to friends and family how they can both help us. How my life has changed. My life changed drastically as I went from a loving husband to being Anita's primary care or parent, thereby responsible for every detail of life. My physical health declined as my blood pressure increased, therefore my medications also increased. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and the medication increased to a maximum of 5 pills a day. And other ailments such as sore back, arthritis, instead of being occasional, became daily. While at the doctor's office for a checkup, I commented that I had lost all sexual desire for Anita, and our doctor responded this was good, as Anita was now my child. Rather shocking. Anita's life has also changed drastically. Anita went from a productive, concerned, loving wife to somebody that basically cannot remember something that happened 5 seconds ago. Anita's functionality has decreased over the last 3.5 years as follows. Incontinence started in February 2013 and quickly progressed to complete loss of control of both her urine and bowels by June 2013. Along with came the inability to clean herself. As Anita was initially a wanderer, I implemented safety catches. She could still manage to wander, but was quickly found. I purchased a GPS tracking device, installed alarm systems on the doors. Neighbors were always checking if they saw her and not me. Anita would wander into neighbors' houses and sit down and start talking. Anita started throwing or pouring any drinks she had on the floor, at the wall, etc. I was told that later that this was symptomatic as she was finished with what she had wanted and did not know what to do with her remainder, so therefore threw it away. This is the same thing with tearing up little pieces of paper. She didn't want them anymore, she tore them up. This info would have been handy at the start as I could not figure out why Anita wanted to do this and got frustrated. Anita's ability to express herself verbally has decreased to the point of having to ask specific questions and hope that she will answer yes or no if that is what she wants. I usually know when she wants something as Anita will grip my hand or the hand of a care worker. This decrease happened probably from October 2013 to May 2014. Anita started to hit out both physically and verbally, saying hateful things in anger around July 2013. This culminated in March 2014 at Somerset Manor as Anita was on a 1-month respite as I underwent knee surgery. Anita would go up to other residents and say, "I do not like you," and try to hit them. Early April, the manor advised me that if there was one more incident, they would transfer Anita to Prince County Hospital Mental Health. On April 6th, Anita was moved to PCH. While at PCH, I was advised Anita was being put on a list to go to Hillsborough. In early May, I was advised that Anita was not swallowing solid food or meds on her own volition, and that she has to be coached to do so. About mid-July, Anita stopped hitting and was recessed in September and put on a list for Somerset Manor. 20th of October, Anita was moved from Prince County Hospital to the Manor. On that day, I asked Anita if she wanted to go for a ride, and she said yes. I got her into the car and drove over to the Manor and asked if she wanted to go back to her room, and she said yes. I took her to her new room, and there was no acknowledgement that there was a different place than where she had just come from. Anita, since early May, has had problems in transitioning from one position to another, especially sitting, as she will kneel on a chair and face the back instead of turning around and sitting down unless prompted to sit properly. Eating meals is a long process, and Anita will basically play with her food unless prompted to pick up her spoon and put it in her mouth, and sometimes a helper actually has to feed her. Along with eating is drinking fluids. Anita has to be reminded that there is something to drink and offered the item, and she will drink from a straw. Drinking from a glass is difficult because she cannot remember how to pick up the glass and take it to her mouth. Anita loves music, and if a song is playing, she will sing along, and if she knew the words before, she knows the words now. Support. The Alzheimer's Society PEI was one of my first outside support. In the initial stages, I learned about what to expect to happen. The monthly support meetings were helpful until I became too concerned about Anita that I could not attend. Home care provided help by watching Anita while I managed to get things done outside the house. Home Instead also provided service in the evening so that I could go play cards once a week. The main support were friends and some family that were available to listen to my concerns and not judge me. Though I frequently was told I was doing too much, nobody really complained. Books, the internet, and apps that gave information helped. Coping with this, learning as much as I could was very, very helpful. Finding humor in the things that were taking place, talking about everything that was happening. Finally, and the hardest one, is accepting that I cannot change Anita back to the person she was and love the person she is now. Anita is happy and recognizes me, her mother, and friends. When I leave, she does not get upset. She is always happy to see me, but whether she has seen me 10 seconds ago or 10 days ago, it is the first time she has seen me. Anita, other than the constant loving care that she receives at Somerset Manor, has no other needs. My needs are minimal, as since Anita is now receiving constant care, my blood pressure has decreased, meds have decreased, type 2 diabetic, I'm down to 1 pill a day. My main need is that young people, middle-aged adults, become aware of the early symptoms so that their loved ones can be diagnosed, and maybe the meds that could have delayed Anita's dementia is caught early and they are given more time with their loved ones. Another thing I would like people to understand is that us caregivers do what we are comfortable with doing. We don't do too much. We do what we are comfortable with doing. All I found I needed from people was for them to listen as I was talking about what was happening, and not to ask the whys and wherefores, but just accept it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, for sharing your stories. I'd like to open up the floor for questions if there's any. Again, just raise your hand.
How old is your mom? She's young.
Any other questions? One more over here.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, and I just wanted to say how much that, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone, how much I appreciated you bringing us on your personal journeys today. And yet, as a caregiver, I know how courageous it is to sit there and share your most personal and intimate experiences with your loved ones. I applaud each and every one of you. I think you're very brave, and thank you for today.
I'm often sharing with people that we do our best to raise awareness and to advocate for people with dementia and for the needs of their caregivers. But, you know, as hard as we can work, the message is never as strong as when it comes from people who are actually being impacted by this disease, either living with the disease or as a caregiver. So it makes a huge difference to have personal stories like yours shared, and I thank you so much for taking the time and for being brave enough to come up here and share those stories. Thank you very much.